Insane in the membrane.
Yourself. I don't know if you've used this before.
That's fine.
There we go. Here we go. So we should be on. Going. John Robertson is back. Here he is. Look at him.
Hey, gang. Hello, folks.
Yeah. I tell you, and I like the one. It was such a great time having you on last time, and we did it together when we had the studio.
Yeah.
And honestly, and you know what I'm going to say, but the biggest memory for me is us discussing the best way to insert a Barbie doll.
Barbie doll. Yeah, legs first.
Yeah, but I always said head. I know it was legs first, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, but the head will get lodged up there. Like if a small and angry little brother can take the head, off a Barbie doll, then an agitated anus can absolutely suck it like the Sarlacc pit. Yes. What you want is the arms up and the legs together because they taper, and then her shoulders are kind of stopping her a bit.
Yeah. They're the locking mechanism to stop it going all the way in. Yeah.
And also you've now got Barbie underneath really calling for help. Almost like 99% of her body is trapped in someone's asshole. And of course with the hair streaming out as well, good for the pony fetishists. Good for those people don't get enough. Like a lot of people don't have the budget to really do pony play. I mean, pony play in a flat is impossible.
I mean, I've seen it done in videos.
Really?
Yeah. There's a bleakness to it.
Yes. Well,
pony play on a budget, I think.
Yeah. Put your hands up like this and go over there. All right, that took 4 seconds. Come back. Yeah. No, clip clop. Yeah, no, I know. I don't ever want to yuck anybody's yum, but it really does. That really does feel like a thing that requires a budget and at least one kind of open-minded farmer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. If you're there are some fetishes that they need space.
Yeah.
You need to really get into it. Oven gloves instead of hooves.
Yeah. Oh, horrible. You're just telling me that the oven's on. It's too hot to touch, and that's the only hot thing about this. But the first videos I ever saw, specifically of pony play, were it was Americans doing it. So it was Americans, but like going out to the desert, and so it'd be like, hot stacked goth girl pulls buggy, and it's like, well, the first half of that sentence is really good, and then it would literally be in the video, you'd go, wow, look at that beautiful woman, and they're out in the desert, and she is hot, and she's literally physically hot, and she's breathing really hard, and I like this harness she's in, and that's really cool. And then she would just wheel into shot some dickhead in a fedora, and it was always just a bit like, gross, no fun.
Nah. That's the thing. There's a grimness when you start bringing in the dude behind it.
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like I get this occasionally, less so now, I expect, just because I don't really care so much when I'm at fetish clubs now. I'm a bit older. But the amount of times I would go down and you would see these very attractive, very intelligent women, young women usually, with some fucking schnook who's got them just on a lead. And I always wanted to go up to them and go, just because he's the first one who said he's into it doesn't mean he has to be the last one, or that you have to be doing this now. Like there's a bunch of people where it's a bit like, mate, if you can squeeze the spots off your face, you ain't calling yourself daddy. I'll hurt you on general principles, Jesus.
Just to show you.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll show you also the difference between hitting someone in a way that they enjoy, and the trick is getting them in the nose. God, yeah,
that's the one. This is the thing I've seen because of the internet now.
Yeah,
you do. You've seen all manner of things, and you don't really have to. You don't search for it. If you're around those areas, things pop up. Things pop up.
They do pop up. And Hello, folks.
He's here all week.
Hey. Oh,
There's
God,
one. There's
sorry,
one. Where
Rich.
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Lately, I've had two people say very devastating things about how I behave. Yesterday, I was
No.
out. Yesterday I was out bowling with some other comics, and they did the "he's always on," which I was a bit like, oh, and I was a bit like, oh, fuck you guys, you know. Like,
Yeah.
I was a bit like, if we had an audience, that would have killed. But my girlfriend, she, at one point, I told her a story that hadn't gone anywhere, and she just went, "Everything's a canon event with you, isn't it, John?" which was really excellent. It's like, yeah, it was a really nice way of going. You've placed too much weight in this. It's actually not important, and I don't need to hear this again, which is good.
Yeah, any story that finishes, well, you know, you had to be there, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. My version of that is, which was nice. I did the fast show. That was pretty good. Which was nice.
Which was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Those are two brutal takedowns when, and I know they probably don't really mean it to cut as deep as it does, but it does, and it's
because you recognize how facile your own behavior is. You know, like I've just sort of fallen into rhythms, and it's like, oh, this is not that time. But yeah, tell us about this porn that you haven't been looking for, but has somehow just showing up.
I see. That's the thing as well with stories when you get cut off halfway.
Mm.
And they make it, and then they go, "Oh well, yeah, just finish yours. What was this bullshit you were telling me?"
Yeah. Well, I do that to myself. You know, I cut myself off with no sense of, you know, like just because I get distracted by something, and then you'll just hear me go, "What were we doing? Oh, it's some bullshit." You know, I can only remember what I was saying if I'm on stage. You know,
yes.
we need about 50 plus people in a room for me to go, it was so important that it needs to happen now. But no, I mean, I'm with you. I get shown all manner of things that I wasn't necessarily looking for.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's good. Has something perturbed you, Rich?
Not perturbed. It's just what fascinates me is how you got to that place. Because we spoke before about what things we're into and things like that. And I've talked about it on here, and I've said stuff in videos, and so it's no secret. And I sort of know where they come from. But when I see someone that's pretending to be eaten by a snake, what do they call it? Is that voy or vor?
Vor.
And I'm like, how did that? Or watching someone being eaten by a sleeping bag or a duvet, pretending to be a monster.
Yeah. No, I know.
Wow.
I mean, I think a lot of it, and this is just, you know, a bit of armchair psychologist, why not? But it also applies to myself and a bunch of people I know. A lot of it comes out of the media that you encounter when you're a kid.
Right? Yeah.
So it's the media and also your surroundings. Like I've recently bought a cage. Like I've bought a big human cage. Right. Okay. I got it on Facebook Marketplace. It was a top day. Right. It was, you know, it was discounted. The comedian Paul Savage had put it on Facebook going, "Isn't this funny?" And then at 2 a.m. I'm in his DMs going, "Where's the link, Paul?" John, the link, Paul. So I went, bought this thing. Right. And I've been showing it to everybody because everyone's a bit like, "What have you got?" Ow. And I showed it to my mum, and mum just went, "Oh, this is for adults who, when they were kids, used to like hiding in small places." Which, like, I didn't have the heart. Like, it was weeks later before I went, nailed it. Yeah, spot on. You know, because I was just a bit like, oh, let the boy have some fucking mystery to his life. There's so many things about myself I don't know. I don't need that to be so obviously explained. But yeah. So it's like all of the furries that I used to know in Perth, Western Australia, they could all point to the Disney Robin Hood.
Of course. That makes so much sense.
That's it. And then, there's like a new generation of kids sitting on TikTok who are doing the same shtick. They're all going, "Oh, yeah, I mean, what's the story with sexy Fox Robin in Disney's Robin Hood?" It's like that movie came out about 1935, you know, like, wow, that's you know, it's a little bit like, you don't see this so often, but it would be a bit like seeing people showing up dressed as Marlene Dietrich. You know, just sort of like with all of the suspender clips in the world, you know, which I suppose they're doing, but they're getting that from Dita Von Teese. So
yeah. No, but it's like comedy when I remember in the 80s being given the Eddie Murphy cassette of Delirious.
Yeah.
And then someone, and I'm like, that's the best thing I've ever seen at the time. And then, you know, and then someone going, yeah, but that's Richard Pryor. You're like, who's Richard Pryor? Oh, the dude in Superman 3. What? Yeah. And then you go back and then they go, yeah, but that's George Carlin. Who's George Carlin? The guy in Bill and Ted. What?
Yeah. Also, just imagine, because Richard Pryor being in Superman 3 is considered a low point of his career, right? Wouldn't it be nice to have a career where the low point was that you were in Superman 3?
In the good Superman as well.
Yeah. But wouldn't that, with Christopher Reeve, and hang on a second, directed by, the one just before had been directed by Richard Lester.
That's right.
Who had worked with Spike Milligan and Peter Sellers, all of this. God damn.
What a low point.
Yeah, because I mean, I've been present at several low points of my own career, and thankfully they were usually defined by the fact no other fucker was there. So, Jesus. What a real bummer. Oh, no. His artistic nadir. Oh, what a shame to be well paid to be in this highly successful film.
And he still managed to be himself.
Yes. Well, I mean, did he have any other settings? I say that.
I don't think so.
I say that with a huge amount of love. I mean, I tried watching, See No Evil, Hear No Evil the other day.
Yeah.
Which really did it for me when I was a kid.
Same.
And now I'm just a bit older and my attention span's kind of fucked. So it was a thing where I watched the opening bit where I'm like, oh yeah, Richard Pryor, he's blind. That's a good joke. And then in the next scene, I was like, I see the joke. It's still that Richard Pryor's, but I know some blind people. I'm a bit sick of this now. The raw novelty of disability has really worn off. I want to hear my, It'll sound sort of, I don't know, kind of heart-drippingly, empathetic, but I like my disabled jokes told by disabled people because they really know stuff and they're really really unpleasant about it. There's some really good hard shit there.
Done by the right people. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, there's something to be said for research, and really intrinsically good research.
And experience.
Yeah, I once watched, and I can't repeat this to you, but I once watched a comedian with cerebral palsy tell an open micer with cerebral palsy, and I can't name who this was or whatever, but it was very funny because what he was essentially saying was, look, just because we're both disabled doesn't make me your friend or your peer. You have insulted my friends, and you will leave immediately.
Wow.
And it was said beautifully and so harshly, but I literally had to lean in like I was a waiter and be like, I'm terribly sorry, but you're going to have to go. Oh dear. Yeah. But that was the thing. It came from a real place of knowing. It was just this kind of, and it was incredible. It was, look, I appreciate that we are in the same boat. However, we are not in this same boat, and you didn't need to come back here backstage and be so unpleasant.
Yeah.
It was an amazing thing.
Dude,
anyway, there we go. That's one of those great stories that isn't anything. Good for the listener, I think.
I remember telling a story, and then that person turning around and going, well, that is what they call a non-anecdote. I think it was Vic Slayton that laid that one on me, and I went,
I like that. Yeah. Well, I mean, what I've just done is, I like professional wrestling. And also, if you're playing at home with the John Robertson bingo card, S&M and professional wrestling have appeared. Can't wait to move on to Suicide and his dead father, and then we'll really have it done. But all the pro wrestlers who work for WWE, right? If they've got podcasts, their podcasts are now controlled by the WWE. So all of their stories are exactly what I've just done, which is, I tell you, it was so interesting. Not naming who was there or anything that happened. Oh, I can't tell that story. But somehow it goes for 45 minutes, and then in the middle they sell you some dick pills. So
we all listen, and we all get dragged into it.
Well, this is the thing. I've had this a bunch of times when I've been listening to a podcast, and I've realized, what this is it's just meant to be a vague human noise in the background. It's meant to be like, I don't like a lot of these things are being made so you're not really listening to them. You know, it's just, oh, my friends are talking while I'm doing something else, and then occasionally you hook back into the conversation. Good point, The Undertaker. You know,
it's true, and that, but
Yeah.
but they don't want that. What they want is full engagement all the time.
Yeah, full engagement all the time while providing no reason to engage.
Yeah.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
No hook, no reason,
No.
but they want it. They want
Yeah.
it. And
Exactly. Like being attacked by Buddhists, you know, like the gong has been hit and they mean you no harm. Yeah.
I tell you what, you mentioned unpleasant people.
Yes.
Now, I've said this to you before, and I'm going to repeat this on this show because it happened after our last interview that we did. Because you do the dark room, and it's you in your, I would say, your most purest form. You're able to just cut loose and be the true essence of you. Is just that guy. Do you reckon it's that kind of like, yeah, no holds barred out there, but having spent time with you, and this was a beautiful thing that you did, and I will never ever forget that you did this. I'd done a writing course for comedians or people wanted to get into comedy in between the lockdowns, and to a few people, to them I'd said, look, if you ever see me at a gig and you want to come down, give me a shout, come down, and you can see what goes on, you can see what happens at gigs and things like that, and meet people, and you know, and hopefully it'll help you. And then one particular person, again, I won't say who, can't even remember her name, to be honest. She just turned up and was the rudest, arrogant person I've ever met. And she was just down going, yeah, well, when I'm doing Live at the Apollo, and yeah, when I'm selling out the O2, and when I'm doing this, and they're just being obnoxious to everybody. And everyone was backing away, and everyone was like, Rich, who the fuck is this? I'm like, look, I invited her down. I didn't know she was going to be like this. I don't know what to do. And then I end up just sitting with her on my own because I didn't want to just cut her off. Because even though she was being an asshole, I didn't want to be that guy. And then you appeared. You got wind of it. And you were told, listen, this is what's happening. And you came over and you sat down and you rode shotgun with me through this horrible time with this horrible person. And you were so kind and you were so open and so forgiving of this person until they were just so shit to you that you went, nah, I'm going to go. But this has been great. Rich, a word. And then it's like, she's going to have to go.
Yeah.
And it was so beautiful. And it just showed me a facet of you that I knew was there. Obviously, I knew there. I think you're tremendous. But just to see it in full flow, when the shit hit the fan, to see you step up like that. And that, I think, is when you know who you really are as a person. When the shit is the fan, how you react is who you truly are. And you stepped up,
brother.
and it was wonderful. So there's me saying, oh, yeah, the dark room, that's you in your purest form. When you stepped into the fray and you took a bullet for me. Dude, I will never forget that. Never forget that.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really happy to do it. And people have done that for me before, but also like thinking about it, part of that's for her as well, because like a lot of what you're talking about there is coming out of insecurity. Like she's just up in the scene. So there's no point coming over and just going, oh, shut the fuck up and get the fuck out.
Yeah.
You know, because that's not good, right? But you just sit and you go, all right, well, you know, it's okay. It's just a boring night at a table, you know, until such a time as you go, okay, no, that's all right. It's happened. And yeah, I mean, like that's life. That's fine. Yeah, I'm glad I was able to do that for you. I remember doing that.
Yeah, mate, it was lovely.
Thank you. Well, there's also, you know, like a combination of empathy and good manners. And also there's some shitty part of me going, oh, I want to see this for myself. You know,
all those elements.
Well,
elements.
That's it. Yeah, until such a time as you're like, my God, this is just fascinating. You know, like, that's amazing. And my God, are there no tall buildings near where you live? And have you never thought about just leaping, just giving it a go? I mean, I believe I can fly. I believe I can touch the sky. Give it a shot. come on, I believe in you. Yeah, no, I know. I'm glad, man. Like, but I've also had people do that for me as well. Like when I was younger, I wouldn't say I necessarily had like an aggression problem, right? Which is a wonderfully loaded way to start a sentence. I lived in Australia, and Australians are forthright. Forthright people. I reckon that's shit. Like, I don't know. Shut up. Like, and that can be completely fine. But I was also in the nerd scene, so like a lot of people, let's just call them differently socialized. A lot of big feelings, a lot of very poor expression, and all of this. And I realized it must have been my now former wife was doing the running for me, because there was an occasion I'll never forget. So I was sitting with some people, and they were going, "Oh, John," and they weren't being mean. They were just going, "Oh, this guy who's coming up here now, right? He's a bit of a dead shit, actually." And then they would tell you what he did, right? And he came over to me. And, some people could just say, "Oh, hello," or whatever. But in a completely, over-familiar way, he slapped me on my shoulder. I was like, "Oh, hey, man." And so I just went, "Get the fuck away from me, you fucking loser. You know what you did. Fuck off. Go on, go. Right? And so off he went, and I sat down and looked at my friends, and they were a bit like, "Oh, well, thank you, John. Goodo, I suppose." And, the day continues on. But the next time I saw that bloke, he was incredibly nice. And it wasn't because I'd just gone in one, right? Because that doesn't necessarily breed incredible niceness. No. It was because my wife had found him at some point and gone, "Oh, ignore the idiot. Don't worry about that. I've had a couple of people, he's got two emotional settings. He's either incredibly pleased to see you, or he's annoyed at something, and it won't have anything to do with you." Right?
Yeah.
And and I found out as well, like my grandmother did this. My grandmother did this at one point. We had a cousin who needed to give me really terrible news. And she was apparently told, "Look, John's probably going to start shouting. He's not shouting at you. He's shouting at the situation." Right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it was. But it was a bit, when I first sort of realized what was going on, I was a bit sort of pleased by it. And, it's been my pleasure to do that for other people. And then also a bit later on, you go, "Oh, how fucking embarrassing," to sort of be like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about Johnny Two Emotions over there. He'll flip the coin and you'll get the other one in a minute." Fucking hell, rough. It just speaks to a man who can't tolerate stress. Honestly,
I think this is it. My insecurity comes out in weird ways sometimes, and I knew my drinking. I talk about my drinking. I just drank like everybody else did, but a lot of it was to cover up the fact that I was insecure and nervous about being in social situations, as most of us do. But I'd always go too far. I remember being in the Soho Theatre bar, and I'm over in the corner. I can't remember where I've been or what I've been doing. And then I look over, and Danny Boy and Tommy Tiernan are sitting together. Yeah. So Tommy's sort of looking up. Now we kind of met before. We did a Cambridge comedy festival gig, but we didn't see each other. But we were aware of each other being in the same place. And so he's kind of looking over and he's sort of waving. And then Danny Boy turns around and just goes, like, waves me over. Now I'm hammered. So I go over and I'm like, "Oh, nice to see you. Good to see you, Tom. Hey, how you doing, Danny? You're good, mate." And I sit down with him, and then I'm trying to be funny because I'm nervous, but I'm pissed.
Yeah.
So I start taking the piss out of Danny for having sunglasses on indoors. And after a while, he goes, "I can't." He goes, "I invited you over, now you're taking the piss." And he did it lightheartedly, but I suddenly went, "Oh, I'm being an asshole. Oh, fuck, I've been a total prick." And I just went, "Do you know what? This is lovely. I'm going to have to go. I'm a bit pissed. I'll see you guys later. Thanks very much." And every now and again, every time I see Tommy Tiernan pop up, I'm like, "Oh, fuck me." He doesn't remember it. It's just that I'm like, they invited me over and I was an asshole. Yeah.
Don't worry, man. I mean, I've got I've done that. At one point I did hear in a bar in Edinburgh, I did hear a bunch of comics go, "Oh, fuck, here comes John Robertson." Which was a sign, perhaps that maybe the drinking had gotten a little heavy and I was being a bit exuberant. But I remember, like drinking and, insecurity, you know, and trying to mask that. I remember when we were first coming up to the Edinburgh Fringe and we're like, all right, here, you know, like we were from a small town in Australia, you know, this is my then wife and I, you know, and we really, you know, we were like, oh, this is a real make and break thing, you know, like we had no sense that stepping into the global scene does not mean being focused on the global stage, right?
Yeah.
So I remember walking into the Assembly Club bar the first time I did it, and I wanted to make an impact. So I grabbed both of the doors and wrenched them open, you know, just kind of, you know, like the filmic way. But I was hammered, so I just ripped the fucking handles off, which the only people who saw it were the staff, who frankly were a bit annoyed, you know. And you're like, oh, you know, this is what's going on there. And then, yeah, I definitely, at one point there was, oh God, years ago, there was a poor agent who was just sitting there who got the full sort of foam and flecked spittle version of, hey, when are you cunts going to look after me? Oh! Which did, well, I'll tell you this. If he listens to this and he figures out, you know, that'll be very funny to me. But I once had the good fortune that a partner of mine decided backstage at a festival that now would be a really excellent time to give me a blowjob. You know, it was a lovely idea. We had to, we were in a shipping container and we had to close everything, right? Because there was also a youth circus going on outside, right? So we were, you know, so it was a quiet thing. I mean, I'm trying to, you know, focus on what's going on, you know, and all, you know, here we go. And we get there, right? You know, we get there to the moment of completion, you know, and it's good, you know, like I frankly, I've reverse Pez dispensed her and her throat is now full. And it was just, she'd said a really nice thing. And she went, oh, can you go get us some water? Right. Which is a completely reasonable thing to do. Yeah. So I go out, right, to get her the water. I've got the water, but on the way back, I've run into that agent, right? And I'm still so paralyzed with how appallingly I felt I'd behaved the first time. I don't realize he is high as a fucking kite in the middle of the day. He's got two acts with him, both of whom are pissed as lords. And I stood with them because I was nervous too long. Yeah. So by the time I got back to the shipping container, the water was taken from my hand. And, you know, quite rightfully, I was up, Brad, like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And there was no, I was just like, I was scared.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I got trapped. I couldn't help it. Yeah.
Yeah, somehow, but it was fucking awful, you know, like, and now literally I would have just been like, yeah, look, gentlemen, this is fascinating. My semen is congealing in someone. I'm actually doing a stupid thing because something, you know, I've somehow been kind of not triggered, but I'm just frozen here. Yeah. You know, and a weird stupid
weird thing.
Well, also because as with the saying of everything that you do is a canon event, that bloke doesn't remember me in the bar. No. Right? I mean, I spoke to someone on that night and they went, John, 100 people would have done that to him this evening.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, good. That's fine. And yeah, I've never had a problem with that bloke. He's never mentioned it to me and I see him all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Is he my agent? No, because when I sobered up, I went, wait a minute. That's a bit lucky. I don't want to work with that guy.
See, is your subconscious helping you out.
Yeah. Well, that'd be fucking nice. And it is always better to have your subconscious. Always on. Load the cannon.
It's funny that you mentioned canon events, and I've never heard it described as that before. It's the first time.
Well, we can thank my partner for that. She's a very fucking talented wordsmith.
Fucking brilliant. And it's true.
She really is.
But it's true. I mean, she's absolutely nailed it with that. The amount of time, the day I realized that not only are people not thinking about what happened, they don't even remember meeting you, as you've said. There are so many things that I've thought about from 25, 30, nearly 40 years ago. I'm like, oh God, do you remember that? That person's either dead, but doesn't he remember that you were in there, you were around him?
No, it's true. Like me and my childhood best friend, we ran into a guy on the train once who we'd gone to school with. And this was only maybe, I don't know, not even 10 years, maybe 5 years, right? After we'd been to school with him. He didn't remember us. Like at all. I mean, he was high as balls. He was the first person we'd ever seen so baked on weed, on public transport, which of course, speaks to a lack of experience. Catch more than one train, you can see it all the time. And yeah, I remember we were both like, my God, but what about this? The man must have severe memory problems. And then you look back and you go, we just weren't that interesting to him. Like that's life. That happens.
That's it.
Yeah.
There was someone I knew, Emma, and there was a group of us used to hang around. We were about 17, 18, and we'd hang around, and there was Emma, Izzy, and Liz, and we'd go everywhere together, and we got hammered together, and we just went away, and it was brilliant. We had a really good time, and then eventually we all drifted off. I met someone, and then went off and had a kid and did these things. And then a couple of years later, I was on a train coming up from Rochester, going up into London in Kent.
Yeah.
And Emma sits in front of me. And I remember her coming to my house and me being blown away by her because she's going through my dad's records and she's going, you've got Muddy Waters in here and you've got all these. And she was like, so I was telling me about all these blues artists that she was into. And like a 17-year-old that was into that blew my mind because I had my dad's records. I didn't really listen to them at the time. So then we're on the train. I'm like, Em, how's it going? She's like, yeah, it's all right. It's all right. We're chatting away. And about 5 minutes in, she goes, have we met? And I went, yeah, it's Rich. We used to, and she went, I don't remember you. I was rocked. Not because I'm arrogant enough to think, you should. I'm like, but we spent quality time together.
Yeah.
And that, boom, gone.
I know. Well, it's the it's terrible, but it's summed up in the Street Fighter movie. To you, the day Bison came to your village was the most important day of your life. To me, it was Tuesday. And I have that happen. Yeah, I absolutely have that happen. I've spoken to people, there's certainly people in my sexual history who I must have encountered them at a particular time of my life where I was just deeply impressed by them. And then you meet them, you maintain a friendship and you hang out with them. And, some of these people are people I've known, 20, 25 years, right? And eventually you're like, these are also just people just like me. They have their own insecurities. Like there was a person I was talking to, an old friend the other day, who I remember, I always thought that she was the most like confident, level-headed, experienced human being alive, right? She seemed to know everything. She was the first person that I ever knew. And I used to tell her, I think you fuck satirically, right? She seemed so, so self-possessed and so knowing what she wanted, even if you didn't know necessarily what she wanted. It was an incredible thing. And then I find out later, she's like, oh no, I just never had any idea when anyone was hitting on me. And so it was always a surprise. And you're like, really? I think I repeated back to her. No, I didn't. But at one point I'll have the balls to tell her a story I'd heard about her, which is a good story. Because it was being, this is the sort of story that because it was being told to me, we were teenagers at the time, and it was being told to me by a sort of, not necessarily jealous, but a disapproving person. And the story was this. The story was that this girl had been at a party, and I knew this party, right? I'd been to this party. I wasn't at this one, but there was this vibe anyway, right? And she was in this room, and it's about 5 blokes are in the room. And let's just say that the host is called let's call him Michael, right? And from this slightly ajar door, you just hear this woman yell, Michael, come in here and teach these boys how to lick pussy, right? Now, and I remember this story being told to me like, oh, isn't that appalling? And it was a bit like, well, no, she's a legend. That's amazing. That's someone in complete control of that situation, right? Having a wonderful time, and in fact, making it better. That's someone in charge, and that's great. What you're describing there is actually a wonderful evening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She knew what she wanted. She had control of it.
yeah,
Knew how
yeah.
to, knew how to make it better.
Yeah, I mean, she was also. I remember I did run into her at one of those parties, and she was the first person who I ever got a group out of, right.
Right.
She completely won our exchange. Like
Yeah.
we had slept together once. She was a bit older than me, and I could never quite tell if she wanted to have another go, right.
Right.
But it did seem like she was just having a bit of fun with that idea, which was fine. um and I remember she came up to me and she had a lollipop, and she put it in my mouth, right. It went from her mouth to my mouth, and I just, for whatever reason, when I was that age, couldn't take a win. Just couldn't go, oh, this is a good situation. Why don't I shut up and enjoy the lollipop and see where this is going?
Yeah.
So I went, oh, it tastes of you.
No.
And she goes, well, you didn't complain last time. And the fucking, it was like a fucking rap video. Yeah, whoa,
Ooh.
ooh, and it was a bit like, oh, I've really lost everything in this moment, actually. She neither wanted the lollipop back or was interested in swapping saliva, and the moment had passed.
But the thing is, you were probably on the back foot. You were a bit, like you said, there's an insecurity there on a level, and
well, I just sort of,
and you just and the whole thing combined into you going, like, trying to be cool and not seem aloof.
Well, yeah,
not too keen, but at the same time you are keen, and it's all
this is young men in a nutshell. It's like, okay, you'd like, you'd hope you're not trying to pressure the woman, right? You'd like to have sex with the person. You'd like to manage to do that in a way that you feel some degree of self-respect for yourself. Try not to manifest that by going, listen to me, you rotten slut. Like, that's because that shit's horrible, like, and then you watch that on the internet just, solidify and codify into this appalling kind of, I'm so self-loathing. Oh, I also hate you. Great, let's all hate each other. No, let's hate the women. Why won't they fuck us? We're only trying to kill them. So this sort of horrible shit. But although Rich, that was this, I'm realizing now, that was that was the same party where yes, here we go. May I tell you a story?
You may.
This was a great bit of fun. Some friends of mine had they drank. I didn't used to drink. And they'd gotten their money together and bought themselves a big bottle of Sambuca.
Okay.
And I had stayed up for 24 hours to see if I could. So we're all sort of we're all kind of showing up in various states, right? And as I discovered years later, when you start doing this, if you stay up for about 24 hours on no real stimulants other than caffeine, things just sort of materialize around you. It's never astonishing. You just sort of realize, oh, you're maybe being a bit slower than the room. So we all went out the back, and this slave auction broke out.
Okay.
Right. And it was just, people getting up and standing on a block and people bidding cash and for various things. And I think my friends, who apparently still had money left over from the Sambuca, they got a girl who was going to come and clean their houses in a French maid outfit, which like looking back on it, even now, I'm a bit like, you don't have to pay money for that. The person who's saying, hey, I want to do this, to do that. You should let them do that if that's what you want.
Yeah.
But I was watching this, and I'd had a conversation with this woman who was very, very pretty and a bit taller than me. Which, we'd had some passing conversation. I couldn't quite remember. The next thing I knew was that the slave auction had finished, and that woman came over and just hit me as hard as she could in the face, and just screamed, "Why didn't you bid on me?" So apparently some exchange of ideas had happened that I wasn't privy to. And I'm standing around. I've had the ooh earlier. I've had this. I've now been hit, which hadn't really ever happened. No. And I'm just sort of like, oh Jesus. And I thought, well, what is it I must do? And consulting some imaginary book of chivalry, that I'd never read, but whatever, you know,
Yeah.
what you know, the sort of idea of courtesy that means that you can go and be a bit rude to someone that you like, and then fuck that up, but then feel you have to go and be polite to someone who's literally just hit you.
Yeah.
I went over to this girl to go and sort of like Hugh Grant, going, terribly sorry, you know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, I didn't quite understand. At which exact moment I fell asleep, and I fell asleep in her boobs, and
My God.
and I don't know how long I was asleep in her boobs, but I do remember her going, "Oh, mummy," like that, which was very funny.
She still had the last word. She still
Yeah,
had
yeah,
it.
well, yeah, and then I remember like years later, I was in a share house, and I had my girlfriend, and she went, "Oh, my ex-girlfriend's going to come round," and I went, "Oh, how fantastic, right?" And then the door opened, and it was this woman.
No.
They locked me in a cupboard. It was great. It was a really
You had
good
the
day.
best time.
It was a terrific day.
I don't think there's anyone. This is just me thinking. I don't know,
Yeah.
and I probably will never know. I don't think there's any sort of ex-partner that has ever really pined after me after I've gone. Do you know what I mean? That kind of. Oh, I remember he used to do that thing. Do you remember? I think everyone at the time's going like, "Oh yeah, that was cool. That was nice." I don't think anyone's like, "Oh, he was the only one that could reach that point." And
oh, really?
Yeah, I think so.
I think there are people who have your initials tattooed on their cervix. Yeah, but I mean, it would be. I think it'd be a horrible thing. I would hate to meet anyone who sits around thinking that their former partners pine after them.
God, yeah.
Jesus, they still want me. They still want me.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
no,
all.
no,
Yeah,
fuck that. I mean, like you say that. I don't think my former partners do that. You know, like at all. I'm great friends with most of them, and you know, like sometimes we'll talk about, you know, like the good old days or some amusing incident. But I don't think any of them are going, yes, I must simply have a ride on that mentally ill train again. You know, like, you know, Jesus. Yeah.
It's healthy, actually.
Well, yeah, it is. You know, like sometimes like relationships or exchanges or whatever it is you're doing with people, you know, sometimes they end in climactic ways, sometimes they end in holistic ways, sometimes they end because gradually the interest has drained out, you know. And one thing that's a really nice thing that I've discovered as well, like with former partners, is sometimes the love hasn't gone. You know, like you can still love someone deeply.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, like, and I have that. I have that with my former wife. I have that with a long-term partner. You know, like, you know, these are people who, you know, like, I mean, you know, they're not necessarily in love with you any further, but they love you. They love you on a way you'll never be able to completely, you know, finish.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. And God, you know,
that's great.
Yeah, like it's like when people think of like a loving relationship as being a friendship, you know, it really is a good thing.
Yeah.
So like,
absolutely.
And that when that doesn't go, you know, when the loving friendship doesn't go, you know, the other things occasionally, depending on what's going on, it can be hurtful if someone goes, "Oh, I'm no longer in love with you." But I have also had someone say that to me and then gone, "What's that got to do with it?" Okay, all right, that's fine. That's you know, well, you know, it's a broad church, so you know, you can be Well, some Sorry, bro, you're clearly trying to. Well, no, like sometimes you know, there's. Like love, you know, you can be deep, you know, madly, passionately in love with someone. You can, you know, you can love someone and build a life, you know, like these are equal things. You could find passion during that. Passion ebbs and flows, and you know, sometimes it goes away, sometimes it comes back, sometimes and if you remove all of that language, sometimes two people go, all right, well, we should probably work on something. And then you work on something. You're like, for me, the most lovely thing, if you're going, is like if you want to, is if you build things together.
Mm.
Like that's a really beautiful thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I can look at that. I mean, I spent 20 years, you know, with my former wife, and we've built a huge amount of things together, and we still have a lovely life. You know, it's a beautiful thing. It's, you know, it's
Oh, that's
incredible.
wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's really nice.
my partner and I are building new things, and you know, various other people in the polyamorous spectrum. You know, there's all sorts of things, and it's good. It's broadly good.
It's a nice place to be. It's a nice place to be, and I think
it really,
because obviously the last couple of years, from what I gather, have been you've had a not an easy ride, and I think, and I think that so to be not this side of it, but to be in a place where you can go, actually, do you know what? It's all right. It's all right.
Yeah.
Actually, this is nice because when you're in the depths of the bad bit,
mm.
and you kind of like, I can't even. There's no cracks of light at all.
Yeah. Leonard Cohen was wrong.
Yeah. What did he know?
There's not a crack in anything. I'll tell you what he fucking knew. He knew what it was to be an already published poet who was 10 years older than the girls he was fucking in New York. That's what Leonard Cohen knew. Well, you won't want to be worrying about those boys. You see, I'm lugubrious and a bit, you know, I'm just sitting here confidently. Let me write something faintly mean about you. Like, well, no, I mean, Richard, that's very good of you. I mean, like, just to, you know, for your listeners, why not? Because I psyched myself up to come on.
Let's do it,
so I'll do it. So the thing is, last time we'd spoken, well, I just tried to kill myself, which was an activity that at the time was completely out of character. Like I'd built myself up because we've got a history of that in the family. I got two uncles and my father did it. And I had built myself up that was not a thing I was going to do. It was not a thing I'd ever. Well, I look back, there had been times prior where I'd thought about it, but it was like, no, that's out of character. And then once I tried, and also once I started, all right, also trigger warnings, listeners, it's all coming now.
There we go.
Because once I started on the just taking painkillers, like a fuckload of painkillers, and once I started self-harming, turns out those things are both addictive and both very attractive. And once you've started doing shit like that, it starts presenting itself as a coping mechanism, or at least it did for me.
Yeah.
That
feeling of relief is what you're chasing.
Well, some people that I know have talked about that with me. I didn't feel relief when I did it. I was more pleased just that I had hurt myself. But I'd also, as came out in therapy, I'd also been self-harming for years. I didn't know, right? Like, because I was like, well, no, I don't. What are you talking about? I don't slash my wrists. I just occasionally get upset and punch myself in the head, you know? And they're like, oh, that's self-harm. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Occasionally I punch walls. I thought I was trying to harm the wall. I was like, no, as it turns out. And so, you know, we had all of this, and gradually, like a lot of therapy, I found I find I still get very less annoyed now than I used to. But when people go, "Oh, running's my therapy," it's like, "Oh, no, running is running." You know, I can get the same effect from going for a run that anyone can, which is, you know, some endorphins and you're a bit exhausted and you got away from the situation and all of that. It's still not therapy. Like, therapy is not enjoyable. You know, therapy is a fucking journey where you say stuff enough times that hopefully you've unpacked some things. But, you know, like I came out of, I'd never really had, I didn't have any real self-awareness. I had a sort of, I would agree with myself. Right. I liked some things I was doing, and things that I didn't like about myself, I would unconsciously express my rage by striking myself in the head or just, you know, whatever. Yeah. And then gradually you grow up, you go to therapy, you do some things, and you come out of it going, all right, now I can sometimes go, oh, I'm overwhelmed by this. Right. I can get some distance from that, or I need to deal with this at that point. You know, I don't self-harm any further. I got off the opiates pretty fast, which was good. That was a bit
Yeah.
lucky. I got before they took a real chemical hold. They were more habitual than
Okay.
anything else. But I mean, I've still got my own fucking problems. Like if I'm not busy enough, and this is a real bugger, right? Because my former wife pointed this out. She was like, "Oh, your brain makes up stories."
Right.
Right, and it does because I'll sit around if I'm bored, right. I have to sometimes go, no, 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 no. You've invented a scenario in which you're upset about something. There's always this sense that something there needs to be a rock in my shoe. There needs to be
Yeah.
something wrong, and it's just sort of like, oh no, you can't. You just like it's almost like I've been incredibly happy a bunch of times, right, in my life, but earlier on things had to be going so overwhelmingly well for me to kind of break out of a fear of oh this will end or people will just vanish, all of this, and it was a hell of a thing during the 18 months of therapy because my therapist he is a dickhead. Like he really on some level did suck. But one thing he did was he kept trying to relate everything back to my father's suicide when I was a
Okay.
boy. And he also once tried to finish a session on a callback. And so I was a bit like, I'm not dealing with some hack comedian. I was like, no, no, no. Dealt with the father,
Yeah.
right? There were some other suicides later that were very upsetting as well. Lots of reasons to process loss in a particular way. Fucking hell, right? On and on and on. And then it was a few months after I, finished therapy where I was like, yeah, most of this comes out of that. most, some of this was already in place before my father did that, but a
Yeah.
lot of it comes out of that,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, to the point that, now it's been 30, it's 30 years. It's 30 years exactly. It'll probably be next month, I think, 30 years next month since my father killed himself. And yeah,
Are you
like,
prepared?
oh,
Will it still upset you?
I never know when it's happened. My mum
No.
always tells me. She goes, "Oh, that was last month," or something like that. But well, no, like we talked about it a bit. It didn't upset me for years, right? And then it manifested itself upsetting me in my best friend's car. I had a vision of him being wheeled into the emergency room, which I'd seen,
Yeah.
and I was just on the ground, like
Mm.
inconsolable. And then it didn't really. So like the work that was done on me early, right, meant that that's kind of been a bit walled off, and I've been a bit clinical and cynical, and occasionally just used it for work, more than anything else. And the old joke, which is I used to use it to fuck goth women, because I mean, what better? I've known death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
come to me, my pretties.
Exactly. I'm very sad. Can you make my penis cry? Right. This sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I don't know. It's a thing where I've roped myself off from it. So I'm a bit like I never think, oh, and I've said to people, it's like, well, look, if he'd survived, I know what I'm like with men. Like, I don't necessarily like men particularly. I don't like men. Certainly, if we end up in a competitive state, right? And I certainly when I was younger, I was very excited to be the only writer or the only this or the only that. And my father was a writer,
Right.
and a singer, and a lot of stuff that I do now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I don't know if we would have had a nice time of him and I playing together, or if it would have just been me going, I'm going to eat the old man. So I can't mourn a life that didn't happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But what I can do is I can just say as a sort of blanket thing, yeah, if you are contemplating suicide, don't.
No.
For I mean, for a colossal number of reasons.
Yeah.
Both for well, like there's no point living for other people. You don't want to do that. You feel beholden.
Yeah.
But I can say, if you do fucking kill yourself, it really fucks things up for everybody. Like because like really what's happened there is the disease or the circumstance has won.
Yeah.
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 Like I've got like I love like euthanasia. I completely agree with, because it's like, okay, if a cancer has so riddled your body, you have no quality of life, and the only solution to an incurable disease is this.
Yeah.
Here we are. But like with depression, with with mania, various other things, these are things for which there are treatments. They're not necessarily easy. They're not necessarily super effective, and sometimes things are incredibly fucking painful.
Mm.
But otherwise, but if you go, all right, the thing in me is telling me I must die, right, and you follow through with that, that isn't you. That's the disease, or
Yeah.
that's the trauma, and I don't believe in letting that shit win. So yeah, it's just that thing. And then and I'm just sort of like, nah, like I can't process things, right, because my father killed himself.
Mm.
Like there are things that I can't feel, and there are things that I can't understand. And then when it does manifest itself, right, it'll be things like when my best friend killed herself, right, I was gone. I was in a like my wife was like, no, you've become 17. And
Right.
I'd literally I became who I was when I knew her the best,
Wow.
and I was gone.
Yeah.
And for my mother, the trauma of that young lady dying that way just took my mum back to my father's
Yeah,
death,
of course. Yeah.
which I didn't quite go there, but I must have been there on some level, because like I was gone.
Yeah.
Now I was, I was doing stuff that I would do later when I had the complete breakdown, where I was talking to the stars.
Mm. Yeah.
When I had my breakdown, I spoke to the moon, because that's where God lived. Like on and on and on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then and and it's just piled up shit that I hadn't necessarily dealt with, or like, just a blow that had been hit, and that then I lived with for years, which I've now come to understand a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, you end up, yeah, it's fucked. And
But I
that's
think
it.
it's that once it's just opening the door on it and just letting a bit of the pressure off and going, yeah, listen, this is what's been happening. And then just that little pressure comes out. And because the pressure's gone down a bit, you're able to kind of focus on it and go, okay, how can I stop self-harming? How can I stop taking the pills? Because when the lid's on, you're just like, no, just keep doing it. It's helping. And I know someone that has done that, and someone that I love dearly, and I've been witness to them doing it, and I've gone, fucking hell, and I've had to sort of grab them and go, enough. What are we doing? Like, hit me if you want to hit anyone, but don't hit yourself. What are we doing?
Yeah.
And just have that sort of, not self-loathing, but that you're fucking useless. You are useless. You're fucking shit. And just punishing yourself.
Yeah, it's foolish.
Just fuck, man. And it's good to be out the other side of it.
Yeah, it really fucking is. I used to get asked by therapists, like when I was in, I don't want to say in crisis, because I know people who, I don't know. We all have this. I know people who have stronger or more chronic problems. But like, I would be explaining what was going on and what the situation was, and I would continually get asked, "Where are you in this?" Right? Which I realize now the problem was I didn't understand the question, and I still don't understand the question.
Yeah,
because I'd be there like, well, I'm the one screaming.
Yeah,
like I'm just in pain. I don't know where I am in this.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, and then I think as well that sort of situation, like people, I think of it as like a frog in a pot. Like you don't realize the water's boiling, until it is, and then then you're just there. Like, I mean, after my I've been in a few like manic states over the years, and fortunately, like I've channeled it into work sometimes, right? Like when we were all going into lockdown, right? I mean, I knew I was crazy, right? I would continue during, well, like I'd stopped trying to kill myself before lockdown, but I still had incidences where I would occasionally just go at myself and all of this. But because I knew I had no work, so I took up streaming, right?
Yeah.
I threw everything into that. And there's like an interview I did with a friend where I keep going, "Oh, shark got to swim. shark got to swim. And I'm saying this like that's a good thing. It's like, well,
Yeah.
no, sharks have to move constantly or they die.
Yeah.
Which is also what that's not good at all.
No.
That's a dumb fish with an elemental survival mechanism. It's like that's what you want to fucking be.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but that's all I could do. Was just yeah.
Where are you
I-
now? Well, go on.
Oh, well, much better. I was just going to say I have
Go on.
had the I took this up with a friend of mine the other day. I have had the good fortune that a lot of the time, if I, in a manic way, throw myself into work, right, to try to like escape something, it's kind of it's unconscious more than anything else. I just sort of find myself doing it and I doing stuff, and broadly, a lot of the stuff I've done while doing that has turned out quite well. Like my my sort of fanboying of Spike Milligan and that idea of, oh well, just let it all out and you really get something or you make something happen. But also, my God, some really woeful shit has come out of that. Like I had I should have known that I was unwell years ago because I had a friend of mine had an inn at a board game place,
Yeah.
right? And they went, oh, if you design a board game, we'll be more than happy to look at it, right? And so I went set up a meeting for tomorrow, and I designed one in a night, and it was just the worst shit imaginable. And I just did, just in this room, just throwing paper around, because I completely believed that it would work, and when it didn't, it was like when you talk to people who are actually delusional. I sort of went, oh. That was it. I was like, oh, and I couldn't process that it hadn't worked. Like, oh, so there was something there. Oh, great. It's like, I mean, I won't. Yeah, I've had experience with this when you're talking to someone and they're saying a thing and you think it sounds crazy.
Yeah.
And you try to logic them out of it, right? And you go, well, that doesn't add up. That doesn't make sense. And what you get is just this kind of, followed by some blanket thing that has nothing to do with what's just been said.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, none of that registered because it can't.
No.
Like you're in a delusional state. I've actually gone and poured some hot water on the wound, and now the wound is singing for some reason. Yeah. But no, the answer is I'm better. Better than I was, and certainly in a place where when I don't throw myself into the depths of self-loathing. I can acknowledge things about myself I'd like to change. It would be very nice not to, when unoccupied, essentially fantasize some world in which I'm at loggerheads with some friend, or I can't believe that comedy festival never believed in me, or whatever. And you're like, wait a minute. Don't I get on with them? What the fuck? Yeah.
I tell you, this is another reason why I had to cut down on the social drinking, because I get too giddy. I have too good a time, and I chat so much delusional bullshit. I met this guy. I was in Bath, and I'm pissed. I'd been to a gig, and I'm pissed, and I'm just chatting to him, and he starts telling me, I've got a friend of mine that's got a field. And we were going, yeah, we could do our own festival, but for working class people. Like, we'll get all the bands that have like come from working class backgrounds and then built their way up, and it's their way of giving back to the community. I'm like, yeah, this is a great idea. I know Nick Banks from Pulp. We could get Pulp. And I'm just fucking hammered. And I genuinely believed I could get Pulp to headline this fucking festival that we were talking about. And then the woman whose field it is appears. And he goes, oh, this is the guy, this is the woman. Her name's whatever. She's the one with the field. I went, oh yeah, you got a field. She went, yeah. And he just goes, we're talking about getting Pulp. And she just looked and turned and left. Yep. She didn't even stop. And she just walked out. And the next morning I woke up and I just was like, fucking hell. And I messaged the two guys and I went, I was chatting some shit last night. And they were like, mate, we were all chatting shit last night.
Yeah.
We're all hammered. Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. That's a good thing to realize, is go, all right, we were just pissed and talking.
Yeah. Yeah. But the
yeah,
level, the level of delusion,
yeah.
because I
Oh,
vaguely know him. One,
yeah.
I know him to have a drink with, but I don't know him to
Mm.
ring him up and say, "Come and do a festival for me."
No, I know. Oh, fuck. Yeah. That's, but I don't know. Like, that's almost part and parcel with the comedy industry.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, I've got a very fond memory years ago of I will name who this was. I don't think she'd mind. Um, and this is a long time ago now. But I was walking around the Abattoir bar
Oh yeah.
at Edinburgh Fringe, and and Sophie Hagen was talking to some guy I don't recognize, and Sophie's obviously a very successful act,
Yeah.
and at the time was on the way to that, and I don't know who it was, but I didn't like the look of him, so I made a second loop round and went, "Oh, are you all right?" And Sophie goes, "He tells me he knows Daniel Kitson." And I was just a bit like, "Oh, okay."
Okay.
I was just like, we all know Daniel Kitson to one degree or another. God
Yeah.
almighty, I had to go get that man a stool and a banana one time. I mean, come on. But
We're all 1 degree of separation.
yes, but also it had at the time I was just like, oh, just let her have a nice time. Like this is good news.
Yeah.
So that was a thing. Yeah. Yeah, I've yeah,
You're
God,
all
yes.
right. You're all right.
Well, that's it. Yeah, somewhere between name dropping and this person's my very best friend in the whole world. It's like, oh, or alternatively, we all work in the arts. We all know each other or of each other to a degree.
Yeah.
Don't push it. Don't push it. Like I had a great fucking here you go. This was good. Years ago, this is while I was ill. I went down to the Soho Theatre, and I didn't really go out in the day back then. Like not really. So to go down to a place to work was very, very out of character. And also, I somehow managed to spend 9 years in London without really knowing anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know
Right.
how I did that. So I just oh, Soho Theatre, people work in there in the day. I know the Soho Theatre, I will go there. So I go down there with my laptop, and I'm sitting there, and I look over the top of my laptop, and I realize that Alexi Sale
Oh wow.
is sitting across from me. Now, I'm looking at Alexi Sale, and I'd also been talking to a mate of mine who's become a very successful fantasy and horror writer.
Mm.
He used to be a stand-up in Perth. Alexi Sale had come to Perth and was rude to him in conversation.
Ah.
Right. So apparently, much like getting pissed with other comics, right? They're all standing around. This guy threw in a line, and Alexi Sale turned around and went, "Don't compete, son," and then just turned his back on him, which is, fucking insane.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at Alexi Sale, and I'm sort of like, "Oh, there's Alexi Sale. Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait a minute. He was about 40 years ago. He was mean to my friend." Right. Okay. So I'm sort of, actually, it'd be about 30 years ago. Sorry to everyone involved in that statement. So I'm just looking at him, and I'm feeling a bit complicated about it. Right. And then I look over and I see Jordan Brooks. Right. And Jordan, I think, well, this has to have been just before the pandemic. So Jordan's just won the big prize in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm looking at Jordan Brooks, and Jordan Brooks looks at me, and we're both sort of like, fucking Alexi Sale's here. How cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I look at Alexi Sale again, and I realize he's trying very hard not to be recognized because he's picked up the program for the theatre, and he's making a real effort to pretending to read it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But also we can tell he's pretending because it's upside down. Right. And I remember this really vividly, and I ran into Jordan at a party last year. And I went, "Hey man, do you remember that?" And I told him this story, and he just went, "No.
What?
I have no memory of any of that, John."
Mate.
And it's there like, "You're right." And then that was when I was also like, we don't know each other. We've never really met. we recognized each other a bit. I realize now, it's like he probably didn't know my name. He probably went, "Oh, that'll be Darkroom guy."
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
hey. Oh, hello. Oh, fuck, Alexi Sale. And then he probably got on with what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, whereas I'm sitting there having this sort of psychotic shit fit, like, can't go over the toilet. Yeah.
This big
So
moment, this big, and you think Jordan's in on it. Yeah, he gets
well, that was it. I was like, yeah. I'm there, and you know what? You know what? He was probably there for the 4 seconds it was interesting.
Yeah.
You know, whereas to me, I was like, well, this has happened to John Robertson. It's a canon event.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, yeah, this is good.
And that brings us right the way round full circle.
Yes,
Look
it
at
does. There you go. Putting a button on the natural flowing improvised conversation. Oh, good.
But this has been wonderful, John.
You're wonderful.
What we're gonna do, honestly, John, I was so looking forward to speaking to you, and I'm sorry I fucked it up the other day by forgetting that my actual birthday was happening.
Oh, dear listener, no, Rich was lovely. We were going to record this last week, and then I messaged him, and he was like, "Oh, I've forgotten it's my birthday. I've been taken for a surprise lunch," which is a fantastic reason, not to have to listen to someone talk about his dick and self-harm. So that works out fine.
I mean, I'm into what I'm into.
Yeah, that was it. I was like, "Oh, good. I'm glad she's taking you, and I don't have to hear about yours. How great!" Blow out the candles and this strap on, etc., etc.
Tuck in, sunshine.
Tuck in.
What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about because as I love music.
Yes.
As much as I love comedy, I love music even more, and I'm always fascinated by the top 5 albums that you might not be. They might have been with you the whole time. They might be what you're into currently, because I know that changes as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I used to be a huge Oasis fan, huge. And this last summer, as amazing as it was to see everyone brought together in the videos I saw and the pictures, I'm going, that's nice. That's a nice moment. Considering how shit the rest of the fucking news is, that's a beautiful thing. But I was in no rush to be amongst it.
Yes.
And that's why I realized, I'm like, I've moved on. I've moved on.
Yeah, it's a nice thing to go, all right, I'm glad you're all together. I'm glad you're all happy.
Yeah.
I was there one time. I don't need to be there again.
Exactly.
It's like last night. I was walking home, right? I've been out of the gym. I was walking home, and I saw 3 Gen Z girls in the street playing music real loudly and just walking, right? It was the fucking Macarena. And
come on,
well, that was it. It was really good. Like they were dancing unironically, and I was just sort of like, all right, like, that's a nice party. That's funny. I'm glad that's happening. That's a good image. Stay over there. And and it was also a little bit like, my old nemesis, you've returned once again to have to live through the Macarena. Okay, yeah.
But that's old music now. That's old people music now.
Oh, mate. When they lifted the ban on homosexuality in Singapore, I was over there quite quickly afterwards. Hello, folks, because it was time.
I heard you needed me. Hello.
Yes. But we'd done a gig, and I was hanging out with most of Singapore's gay comedy community, who, frankly, like, because they could do it that weekend, it was mesh tops ahoy. It was fucking amazing. Yeah. But we were all out the back of this club, and we're smoking indoors. We're having a real good, like, we're in Southeast Asia and the rules are different time. Like you're drinking, for someone's just brought some whiskey, it's all happening. And then we walked into what had been the venue because a disco was on, and there's just a bunch of like mainstream Singaporean kids, right? And they were losing their fucking minds, but it was Mambo number 5. And I was like, oh fuck, this happens. This fucking happens. Yeah. But yeah, for albums, I'm happy to.
This is the thing. There's no control over which songs are going to pop back up again.
Yeah.
None. You can't. There's going to be something out there that's going to pop up. We're going to go, are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, Black Lace is sitting there going, "Come on, Agadoo,
yeah,
come
on.
yeah." All it has
Someone
to do is,
someone use it as a meme.
yeah, that's it. All it has to do is show up in Fortnite. Come on, that's all it has to be. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, albums.
Albums.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily have to be in order, but we're going to go 5 to 1.
Sure.
Just
So
'cause. So we'll start off with number 5.
Well, number 5, because I saw this getting performed live the other day down at Wilton's Music Hall. This is the Tiger Lilies Songs from the Sewer.
Wow.
Fantastic
Yeah.
album. The Tiger Lilies, because like their orchestration is its own orchestration.
Okay.
The lead singer sings in a castrato falsetto,
Yeah.
and plays accordion. Then you've got a multi-instrumentalist, bassist, jaw harp, theremin, saw man, and then the drummer, right?
Yeah.
So it's they only sound like themselves. Like they're influenced by Brechtian cabaret,
Right.
and they've called themselves a death umpar band over
great.
the course of time. But that album particularly, because I took a friend who'd never seen them before, and that album really holds together and really works. And it was an incredible experience sitting in the crowd watching it getting performed live, because they are an incredibly accomplished band, and they're always out in Europe really killing it, and like just crashing it and all of this. But what I was watching in the crowd is fantastic. It was people who had seen them many times, right? And could like, some people are there because there are naughty words. Some people are there because they're appreciating the musicianship. Some people are there because they're appreciating the not just dark imagery, but a real cornucopia of imagery and feeling, right, is going on here. And then those people had brought with them, right, who were, like overwhelmed by how well everything was being played, and really enjoying the beauty of it, but also the words really upsetting them. So like, and it was fantastic. So that was a real triumph. Like the work was beautiful, but there were these two women in front of us who were just in hell, which was just great. But that was it, because it wasn't like, say, okay, if someone comes to see me and they don't enjoy me, right, what they tend to do is they go, oh, well, he was just shouting and saying, just swearing, and there wasn't anything to it. It's like, no, there were two elements there that you disliked, and off the back of that, you didn't listen to anything else, right? Yeah. Whereas these were people who had to sit there and go, no, this is beautiful. This is all incredible. I am, in fact, overwhelmed by what is going on.
Yeah.
And I can also hear the word whore being repeated, right? So for them, it was a lot. But it was really beautiful. And it also, there was a moment where I haven't been quite so close to punching an audience member in a long time.
Wow.
But there was a guy who, I know he's a fan. I met him in the loo. When they're about to, they're finishing up their set, and they've played this fantastic album. The song Happy is gorgeous, and this really melancholy thing, as you may expect, all of this. And then you just hear this guy at the back go, "Start a fire," which the lead singer, when he's on stage, will speak like that.
Right.
But the thing is, he's spent several decades perfecting a voice. It is sonorous. It has extreme range.
Yeah.
And when this bloke sounded like the final moments of a boiling kettle, right, that was when I was sort of like, I nearly moved from my chair just to sort of go, don't you fucking, come on, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking be it. You clearly can't be. So that was, but it was fucking tremendous. And it really, the sound, the really, sometimes the really ponderous sound of the bass in there. And so an incredible thing. And also, if you haven't heard that band before, probably a good way of getting into it for the musicianship, whereas if you wanted to get the kind of, there are two tracks that that you can usually use to introduce people to that band, which are
Okay.
Crack of Doom, which is a great song. And if Crack of Doom hasn't quite finished the job, you send in Banging in the Nails.
I need to write this down.
Oh, well, I mean, you'll love that because, I mean, that's this, yeah. I mean, the opening lines are, I'm crucifying Jesus, I'm banging in the nails, and I am so happy because old Jesus failed. I'm crucifying Jesus, I beat him to a pulp, I stick my organ in his mouth, and on it he must gulp. You know? Yeah, I'm banging in the nails, I'm banging.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they're pretty tremendous. But yeah, Songs from the Sewer. I bought the LP while I was there, and that really kicked off about buying a bunch of vinyl albums. I'm actually as we speak at the moment, I'm currently in a war with Every / Hermes. Yeah, because they twice now there have been these 3 They Might Be Giants albums they're meant to be delivering to my house. They keep taking them somewhere else.
Oh.
Whoever's there is refusing delivery. So now they're on the way back to Austin, Texas again.
Shit,
for the second fucking time. Yeah, mate. Annoying.
And you're like, can I just come and get them? Let me meet you somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. To get this thing where they're like, oh no, there's nothing you can do. We're returning them. It's like, well, no one spoke to me.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Come and get them. Yeah. We had it last week with Kate, my wife, beautiful wife, Kate McGann. She was having a new mobile phone delivered, and it kept going missing. And so I ended up chasing DPD drivers around the town.
Yeah.
Where's the fucking phone? You're nicking phones because one had gone, and this is the second one. And he went, it's not. He goes, no. He goes, there's 3 drivers on this route. I went, right. So, and he went, this is my first day. I'm like, right, okay. To you, I apologize. Tell your fucking mates, I'm having it. I want this fucking phone. That afternoon, phone turned up.
Yeah. No, we're getting a bit of that in the neighborhood at the moment, but
that's so frustrating, man. Oh.
Also, I'm a bit like, why the fuck do you want my They Might Be Giants albums? What do you? Jesus Christ!
Flood's a great album.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. But I'm there going, wow. They're going, wow, Birdhouse in your soul. You know. Yeah.
So that's your number 5.
Yeah, Songs from the Sewer.
What a way to start.
It's a great album,
dude,
and if you get a chance to see it performed live, fucking great.
Let me write that down as well. Yeah. Songs. I know we're recording this, but this is for me after.
Oh, Songs enjoy yourself. Yeah.
From the
Songs
Sewer.
From the Sewer. Yeah. Do Crack of Doom and Banging in the Nails, and then do Songs from the Sewer.
This is the stuff where my lovely wife, Kate McGann, just goes, you can half listen to some weird shit.
Get ready. Also, if you're listening to those guys on Spotify, a lot of weird shit's going to show up afterwards.
Excellent.
Right? That's fun too. I got into the band Cats and Jammer off the back of that. They're good. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. But it turns out there's a bunch of people trying. Well, I don't think they're necessarily ripping off the Tiger Lilies, but I think people who arrange themselves with acoustic instruments around an idiosyncratic voice. Right. You know, that's a whole thing, and it's quite nice, really. I fucking like it.
That's my afternoon sorted out.
There you go. Yeah. Well, the next one.
Yeah.
Next one is the Beatles' Revolver.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Revolver. I really should make an effort to always put that on a list of favorite albums of mine because it was the first one I ever put on. That when it was done, I put it on again immediately, and that's how I understood what it was. You know, because it does. It's just designed to go brilliant. And go. Yeah. And there's not a real dud one on there. Like there are sections of Sgt. Pepper's I can't be fucking having with, you know. I can't quite get through. What is it? Some
White
song
Album
about it.
or.
This
is Sgt. Pepper's.
Yeah, Sgt. Pepper. Well, like Sgt. Pepper's is fucking brilliant. I love Sgt. Pepper's, but there's a couple of songs on there that are just a bit useless.
Yeah.
And White Album's not designed to be really listened to. You know, like it's not there to be enjoyed. You know, right? I love my copy of the White Album, and I've listened to it once. You know, and not in its entirety. I listened to the good shit I put on Revolution 9 once as a joke, and went, all right. That's that, you know, that'll do. But yeah, like Revolver, everything sounds, and like this is not an insult, everything sounds the same. Everything is smooth. You know, even when the horns kick in on "Got to Get You Into My Life," and that's a bit of a gear shift from the otherwise twangly, jangly guitars. That's beautiful too. It all works.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that of all, because like my whole family loves the Beatles.
Right.
And we particularly like well, really what we like is acid Beatles more than anything else.
Yeah,
Like we
later
don't
on.
yeah, we don't. Well, we don't. You know, we don't like. I've certainly never enjoyed drugs as a creative instrument, but you know, if we're going to go long-haired Beatles, you know, is what we want. And Revolver, you know, like just as we're getting into it, just as we're is
those
real
two albums
nice.
in the middle, Revolver and Rubber Soul.
Yeah.
They're the two. I remember we didn't have the Beatles growing up because my dad was a Stones fan, and he said the Beatles were a girls' band. That's what he said. So we never had the Beatles. And it wasn't until 1994 rolled around, and I got into them, and I went, "Oh shit!" When I first heard "I Am the Walrus" for the first time, that just blew my head off. And then,
oh god, yeah.
So then you go Sgt. Pepper, and then someone gave me Rubber Soul and Revolver at the same time, and went, "Check this out."
Look, there are much bigger balls on the Beatles than you imagine. The same with like do you sing, Rich?
Yeah.
I
can hold a tune.
All right. I occasionally can't, but it's never stopped me as audiences
sing
have
like
discovered.
No one's listening.
Right. It turns out a fair amount of aggression and volume will get you through a lot of things, but like one of the I read a review because I used to love reading music magazines, right, and really listen to a lot of bullshit off the back of those. But there was a review of the Cat Stevens live concert Magicat, where they said that he's a much more muscular performer than he sounds on record. And the thing is, if you try to sing Cat Stevens, especially Father and Son, right, no, that's actually a lung buster.
Really?
Of a song. Oh, yeah. Because that because the father is just this gentle cadence, you know, it's not time to make a change, right?
Yeah.
But he's belting when he's the son. How can I try to explain when I do, he turns away? And it's really like, you know, and like when we have like acoustic things, like when I'm back with my family in Australia, right? That's like, I don't know if I'm ever louder and more aggressive than when doing Cat Stevens.
Holy shit, man!
Yeah.
That's a huge shout.
But it's the same with the Beatles. Like, you know, those nice boys from Liverpool. It's like, I don't know, Helter Skelter's a fucking like. I mean, the Rolling Stones only brought us, you know, the tragedy of Altamont. You know, of the Great Stampede. Were they quoted by the Manson family particularly?
Yeah. Was it a murder anthem? No.
Yeah, you fucking tell me. You know, Christ.
That was definitely what happened. It was like, oh yeah, you can take those home to your mother. No. If
you can find John Lennon, he's smacked out in the upstairs neighbour's room. I've got a lot of thoughts and feelings that I'd like to express, you know. Jesus. Yeah.
So
Revolver,
right. That was great. It's
Revolver's a great album.
Great shout.
Great album. And also the one that gets quoted the most in my house because you know, I will just suddenly find myself going, I'm so tired. And that's when you're like, all right, maybe it is time for bed. The Lennon alarm's gone off, you know, like, all right.
All right, time for bed, guys.
Yeah.
So number three.
Number three. Now, here we go, gang. If you're playing along on the John Robertson bingo card, here's another one. Warren Zevon.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Well,
there you go.
Look, there are times when I feel as though I've been lobotomized and I only have about 7 topics of conversation, and Warren Zevon's one of them.
Right.
But not the debut album, Warren Zevon. The one I thought of today, which I really like, is the 80s comeback album, Sentimental Hygiene.
Okay.
That's a lot of fun.
That's a great title.
Oh, it is. Oh, yeah, well, he luxuriates in good titles. Yeah, like Sentimental Hygiene's a fucking great album. It's him discovering. I mean, there'd been guitar on his albums before, but
Mm.
this is that '80s echoing drum time.
Oh yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and it being very very distorted guitar driven rather than like because in his first album it's very much West Coast singer songwriter stuff,
Yeah.
like the backing band of the Eagles,
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And then the album that the most successful album, Excitable Boy, has a bit more of that, but it's more piano based. And
Yeah, yeah.
then his sound varies deeply. Possibly I don't know what necessarily drove him away from the piano, but I think the fact that he was spending a fair amount of time being described as Randy Newman esque.
God.
So yeah, there's a bit like, oh,
Yeah,
okay,
okay. That's
yeah,
we'll have to step things up a little bit then.
yeah,
No
yeah.
disrespect
Whereas,
to
like,
Randy Newman, he knows.
well,
That's
no, no, but what it's a bit of a pain in the ass if you are an idiosyncratic, songwriter,
yeah,
and somebody goes, "Oh, this person's also an idiosyncratic songwriter." It's like, well, I guess the idiosyncrasies must be the fucking same then. It's like
yeah.
there's a really cute story about Bob Dylan hearing "Heart of Gold" on the radio. Right, he's Neil Young singing "Heart of Gold," and he goes, "That sounds so much like me. It should be me." Like he's incredibly angry,
Yeah.
and it's like, in what fucking world? What are
There's
you
nothing
talking
like you.
at all? Neil Young is a man with a tuneful voice.
Yeah.
Deliberately singing tunefully. Bob Dylan is a man who can sing tunefully and chooses not to. Like, the fuck are you talking about?
Fuck are you talking about,
Yeah,
Dylan?
like, what do you mean? You mean people like it? All right, well, write something people like then. You know how to do it. You wrote "Blowing in the Wind."
Yeah. Why are you shitting on your own flowers?
Yeah, what the fuck? Yeah, there we go. That'd be a good one. Yeah. But yeah, Warren Zevon's Sentimental Hygiene's fucking great. I
Yeah.
think I like it because I've reached the point, and this may happen. Well, I mean, this may have happened to you as well. When you've engaged with media when you were younger,
Uh-huh.
and then you age, and then you realize you're older than the person who'd made that media, or older than they were at the
Yeah.
time. It's like at the moment I'm watching Deadwood, right? And the main character, Seth Bullock, I'm like, he's just a boy. He's just a boy. This is some guy in his early 30s. He's coping with a lot of things. He's obviously the sheriff in a pioneer town.
Yeah.
He's shooting people, for God's sake. But he's also just a fresh-faced boy. And I find that with music I listen to at the moment, like I kind of want to hear music, not necessarily reflecting my own experiences, because, I'm fairly, I don't know, I spend time with John Robertson all the fucking time.
Yeah, I don't think that music exists yet.
Oh, it does. Well,
I mean, that's a compliment.
Reaches for ukulele. Let me just bust out one of my originals, Richard. Yeah. Oh, actually, just for fun, because it ties into what we were talking about earlier. I won't play this for you, but in an attempt to, and this relates to Warren Zevon as well. Various people I used to show Warren Zevon to when I was younger, figured out earlier than me that he was joking. Right? Because I would sometimes go, "Oh, why has he got this song of like this kind of overworked thing about mercenaries and stuff?" And it's like, well, he's joking. He's pretending to be a mercenary.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, so this is a tongue-in-cheek, right, sort of thing. I wanted to write this was a hell of a thing. I wanted to write a Warren Zevon-esque, tongue-in-cheek reflection about aging and about the fact that in 2 years I'll be older than my dad lived to be. Right. And I wanted to cut it through with video game references. Right. So the way that this manifested itself is in a song that goes, "I just turned 40 and I don't feel bad. Only 2 years left before I outlive Dad. If I don't keel over and knock down death's door, only 2 years before I get a new high score." which isn't bad.
Hey, shit, that's great, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
And then it gets fairly cheap after that because it's then me going, my father was Pac-Man. I loved him the most, but he was on pills and forever chased by ghosts. My uncles would have been a good link to the past, but like Sonic the Hedgehog, they had to go fast. Yeah, none of us are built to survive, you know?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Thanks, brother. Yeah, my mum liked that. My mum thought that was good. I've tried playing it, and the tune hasn't quite carried that through yet, but we'll get there. Damn it!
It'll appear. It'll appear.
Yeah, it'll get there.
It'll be one of those nights where you decide when you decide to go to bed.
Yeah,
just as you're drifting off.
Yeah,
that tune will just come.
Get it?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But yeah, Sentimental Hygiene.
Excellent.
Is a great album. Especially if because it's instead of it being like a kind of barrel-chested, gruff-voiced guy, either singing about things that are little fantasies or sort of doing this kind of I don't know macho fantasy shit. Sentimental Hygiene feels a lot more lived in. The first, when the first lines are every day I get up in the morning and go to work, do my job, whatever, you know.
Yeah.
There you go. That's about right.
Yeah.
Of course, the next one after that's a song about boxing, but that's all right. Yeah.
I need to explore him more.
I
only know the hits, and that's not enough.
A short list. You know, like. Well, yeah, like he's absolutely worth a fucking journey. And like the day, like Warren Zevon, which is actually his second album, that's worth listening to.
Yeah.
Excitable Boy's worth listening to.
Yeah. You
can fuck off Bad Luck Street and Dancing School. The title alone would be enough to go, it's not great. The Envoy is interesting. That's very, very fucking 80s. Lots of fun. Sentimental Hygiene has some heart to it. Life Will Kill You, the 2000 album.
Okay.
Just before he's been diagnosed as dying. That's his 2000s comeback album. That's fucking great.
Yeah.
The early 90s stuff is a bit ropey. And then there's My Rides Here, which isn't really much. And then The Wind, which is being recorded with all of his friends as he's dying.
Wow.
And that's interesting as a document of that. I certainly this is a sign of luxury, right? what I'm about to say. Of the albums I've heard that are being recorded as someone is dying, right?
Yeah.
I would absolutely take Warren Zevon's The Wind over Bowie's Black Star.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Like both incredibly sad, but Zevon's one more linear and not necessarily because Bowie's expressing himself as he always did through masks and characters and all of this. This is just more thematically clear, you know, and to the point that he does a rare cover and it's Knocking on Heaven's Door,
right?
You know, like you can't get more on the fucking nose. also, if you're dying of it's mesothelioma.
Right.
So, you know, it's gotten into the lungs and everything. Calling the album The Wind because you can't get, you know, you can't breathe is pretty good.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So,
worth investigating. I'll get on that, mate.
Sentimental Hygiene. When he was out of rehab and was alive, that's a good one. Okay, so that's us with 3, I think.
So that's 3. So number 2?
No, number 2. It's a band called Folk Uke.
Okay.
Folk Uke. This is very cute. This is they've been around a lot longer than the phrase this is very cute indicates. It's Woody Nelson and Arlo Guthrie's daughters.
Wow.
Yeah. And they I've blanked on their first names, which is very annoying. But Arlo's daughter plays ukulele. Woody Nelson's daughter plays guitar, and the two of them, they are incredibly funny.
Yeah,
they are much funnier than their fathers. And Arlo Guthrie was screamingly funny. The reason we all got into Folk Uke is my grandparents sent me an MP3 of a song that these girls had recorded. It's called Starfucker.
Okay.
Right?
Your
And
grandma sent you that.
yeah. I just sent her the LP for her 80th. She was very pleased. Like the last time I saw her, she was singing a folk uke song, and the folk uke song goes, "I gave a BJ to a DJ, and now I'm a radio star." Right. But yeah, like Starfucker begins with the devastating. That's it. They call her all beef patty. She's got
Okay.
her eye on my daddy. She's coming at him like a trucker. She's a starfucker.
Ah, that's great.
And then the chorus, I've been trampled by the tramps. They're not wearing any underpants. Ooh, yuckers. Starfuckers. So that's the pre-chorus, but it's so good.
I'm into it
Yeah,
immediately.
I know. So they're fucking funny. I don't know if they're releasing anything new or even if they're still together, but there's a lot of their stuff online. I don't think, like, they never made a video clip or anything. You can just find on YouTube. There's them in bars doing their stuff, but all of their albums are out there online and available for purchase and streaming and all of that. And they're just funny. They did when Trump got in the first time, or maybe it was during the when he was on the way out.
Yeah.
It was something like, "You must have a little one," where it's just talking about his tiny dick, you know. So they're cute and funny and savage and just good and really, really enjoying their they just have a cute sound, and then you listen to the lyrics and go, "Ha ha! Yeah, get him!"
But that's right up my street. I love that. It's like nursery rhymes, but the lyrics are like, holy shit!
Exactly. Well, you'll find that with Tiger Lilies too.
Yeah,
like
mate.
their rhyme schemes are inescapable.
Yeah.
You know, so you'll love it. You'll love it, man. You'll love it. And at number one. At number one, and I've deliberately picked this to avoid people who've listened to me a bunch of times going, because I know there are two words that they're like friends of mine and certainly my partner and various other people will be going. They'll be like, we feel the words Loudon and Wainwright lumbering towards this conversation. And because I adore him, but no, it's his first wife, Kate McGarrigle.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Wow, man.
Kate and Anna McGarrigle have a fucking banger album called "Dancer with Bruised Knees."
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
that's really good. It's their second album. The first album is probably more beautiful in a traditional folky sense. Certainly, their cover of Loudon's "The Swimming Song" on the first album is so delicate, and like it's the reason I've got a banjo over there.
Wow.
Is how nice that sounds when they're frailing it. But it's the second album. The second album just has a whole bunch of just extra instrumentation in there. Some just some traditional folk stuff's come in. A piano has appeared, and it's when I think I fell in love with it during. There's a song called "No Biscuit Blues," which is nice, which, like in someone else's hands could sound like a real bit of suffering, but these beautiful harmonies, right, is real nice. And then there was this really just exuberant sounding French song that I looked up the lyrics for, and it's just it's just two people just killing a bunch of people because they don't have any money. Like it has lines like, "My mother, who was a practical woman, suggested that we boil them down." So that's
mother who was a practical woman.
Yes,
that's great.
So that incredible, nice traditional French homicidal children's folk song. That's good shit.
Dude, I wasn't expecting that. That is a great shout. This is what I love about doing these top fives, is that I get told, because I expect it to go one way, and then someone goes, "Actually, no, I listen to this," and I'm like,
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I love folk music. Like that's my fave. Yeah. Well, yeah. We were an acoustic guitar family, so that's what I really like. I eventually started listening to metal because everyone thought I liked metal.
Yeah.
And it turns out fine. That unfortunately, like, I haven't I haven't listened to any new things in metal or goth rock since the last time people went, I got enthused once. So,
Yeah.
Lepros's Coal is still good. Lindeman's solo album, Skills in Pills, whichever one of those Nightwish albums I liked.
There you go.
There we go. But
Yeah.
fucking good shit.
I have a friend of mine, Emma. She works in the city. She looks like she works in the city. She dresses like it. She does what she does in the city. Her husband is from Eastern Europe, and that has introduced her to the darkest metal.
Yeah,
and that's what she listens to. Yeah. And I've been with her, and she's gone, I want to play this song. This song really talks to me, and I've just gone, this is what is happening. She's like, oh, can you not feel it? I'm like, this sounds like I've said this to you before. Sounds like two churches fucking. And I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah. Fuck, that's excellent.
Yeah.
No, that's it. Jesus, that's exactly right. God.
And you just go, there's something. There's the thing. The reason, the fact that it exists pleases me. I'm glad it's there.
Yeah. Well, anything that when we move to like the extremes of art.
Yeah.
This is great because it's humans expressing themselves.
Yeah.
And expressing themselves for the purpose of doing that.
Yeah.
Via the medium of craft. It's like whenever I see clips where it's like, I'm playing heavy metal riffs acoustically, and you're like, yes, they're incredibly delicate. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. It's actually very complicated music. Fantastic. You can do the same thing if you're listening to Frank Zappa and you go, wow, what a complicated xylophone riff. Gee, if that was coming through a distorted guitar, I bet that'd be real fucking enjoyable, honestly.
There's nothing I like better than the acoustic version of Bolt Thrower.
Yeah.
John, this has been immense. This has
Rich,
been so lovely, man.
A pleasure, brother. Thank you.
You are one of my most favorite people. I love talking to you, man. Where can we find you?
I love you too.
Where can we find you online? I genuinely mean that, mate. Where can we find you?
You can find me at thejohnrobertson.com. You can find me over... Oh, Jesus. Yeah, over on Instagram as Mr_Dark_Room, on TikTok at Robotron Twitch. But yeah, all tour dates over at thejohnrobertson.com. And the YouTube is Robotron, ROBBOTRON /The Dark Room. So there we go. Yeah, right. Yeah. Google John Robertson comedian. You'll find me.
You'll find him. Yeah. John, this has been immense. Thank you so much, my man.
Thank you, beautiful man. It's lovely to be with you.
This is John Robertson. This has been Insane in the Membrane. I've been Rich Wilson. We'll see you next time.
Take care, brother.
Woo!
What a man.